It's amazing now, but we've been at war for almost a decade. More than 7,000 Americans have lost their lives. They were fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters. In Cindy Sheehan's case, her boy Casey died in Iraq. Watch this, and then we will speak with Cindy. The year was 2004, a Sunday in April, and it was the last day of Casey Sheehan's life. His mother, Cindy, thrown into enormous grief. But it turned into resolve, and she became the face of the anti-war movement. Applauded by some, reviled by others, Sheehan pressed forward. She spoke, demonstrated, even camped outside President Bush's Texas ranch. That administration has come and gone. The Iraq war is winding down, but Sheehan's anti-war fervor is in full swing, and she herself continues to create tremendous controversy. Cindy seems to have turned her grief into an anti-war crusade, now even questioning the death of Osama bin Laden. Cindy, welcome. I'd like to put just to bring people up to date, one of the things that prompted us to reach out to you today is you put something up on Facebook I wanted to ask you about. It said, "I'm sorry, but if you believe the newest death of Osama bin Laden, you're stupid. Just to think to yourself, they paraded Saddam's sons around to prove they were dead. Why do you suppose they hastily buried bin Laden at sea?" So, Cindy, that's quite a statement. Do you believe that?
Actually, I think it's a very good question. Why did they hastily bury Osama bin Laden at sea? And, you know, I'm really amazed, first of all, that the media would take something the White House says and just put it out like it's the truth just because the White House says it without any empirical proof. They said there was a matching DNA, but we haven't seen any DNA samples. We don't know who the DNA samples are from. They said that they had photographs, but the one that they did put out was exposed as a fraud that very first day. And the White House had to say, oh, well, you know, we just didn't want to put out the real photos because they're too grisly. I'm just really amazed that instead of people saying, wow, those are really good questions that people are asking, that I'm being reviled, and I'm being reviled on the CNN website, being called in the lunatic fringe, being called pathetic. I think it's pathetic to just accept these pronouncements from our government like they're the truth. Well, like you said, well, let me continue. I was reviled when I went and said that the war in Iraq was a lie, and guess what? I was right. And so instead of like immediately labeling people, why don't we have a discussion about these things? Why won't the government put out the photos? Why did they say that Osama fought back when then they said he didn't? Why did they say that he used his wife as a human shield and they didn't? Why did they say that Pat Tillman, why did they cover up the death of Pat Tillman? Why did they lie to us about the death of our son? Well, so come on, we have to start asking these questions and not just accepting everything our government says at face value.
I think that's a reasonable thing to say. Bureaucracies are not people. They're not known for always giving the most accurate information. Just so I'm clear,
bureaucracies are people.
But are you an anarchist, or are you a social? What kind of government should we have? Are you libertarian?
Well, I think we should have a government that tells us the truth. I don't know what that makes me. Does that make me a truther, that I want a government that is upfront and doesn't lie to us? And are you saying that Democrats and Republicans don't also want the truth, that I can't be in the mainstream just because I want the truth?
Well, let's hear what President Obama told Steve Kroft on 60 Minutes last night about bin Laden's death.
It is important for us to make sure that very graphic photos of somebody who was shot in the head are not floating around as an incitement to additional violence, as a propaganda tool. You know, that's not who we are.
Also, I've been asked to clarify that the first photo that came out that was a fraud was not put out by the government. But Cindy, on this program, you make some interesting points.
Well, then why did the White House say?
Please, Cindy. Please, Cindy, I'm asking you, please. I like to take this program to people at home, to other mothers at home, this Mother's Day coming up, and really talk about your life and how you've taken your grief and seem to have converted it into a cause. Would that be accurate?
Yes, that's accurate.
Does it help you work through your grief to have a purpose? Because sometimes I tell people, you know, when they're dealing with depression or trying to find meaning in life or grief, service can really make a difference. Has that been the case for you?
Well, you know, I get up every day. I get up every day with energy to try and make this world a better place, to try to expose the lies that killed my son, to try and prevent other families from making these mistakes. Not only were we lied to about Iraq, and my son was lied to by his recruiter, and every soldier I talk to says that they're lied to about from their recruiters too, to get them to join the military. And I want to respond to what Obama said to Steve Croft. He said that they don't want to create any kind of backlash or something. Well, you know, Barack Obama has been drone bombing North Waziristan in Pakistan. Like, he's increased it 3 or 4 times the amount that George Bush did. And just saying, we're not that kind of people that put out grisly photos, but we're the kind of people that drone bomb innocent civilians. We're the kind of people that shoot people, but we're not the kind of people that put the photos out. I saw something on Law and Order SVU last night that I wanted to vomit because it was so graphic. Is he saying that that we're not sensitized to violence in this, or that not anything that the U.S. is doing in these Muslim countries is causing this backlash?
Right. And let's take it back to your personal story again. So your son is lost, and again, just so people can appreciate the meaning of this, it's just not a statistic. For instance, many marriages don't make it through this kind of a grief. I understand that there this kind of a loss or a stress. I understand that happened to you as well.
Right.
Was it really directly related to Casey's loss?
I don't know if it's directly related. That's very personal, but you know, like you said, most marriages can't survive something like this. And many marriages have all these struggles anyway.
Yes,
you know, they have financial struggles.
Yes.
You know, you're just trying to make it in the world,
Right.
and then you have to bury your child. And so it does put an unbelievable amount of stress on a marriage.
Do you have other children?
I do. I have 2 daughters and another son, and I have 3 grandchildren now and 1 on the way. So
I'm going to ask.
We have a very close-knit, loving family.
Good. And so you have, thank God you have that. Do they feel
Yes.
supportive of your cause, or do they feel that your cause pulls you away from them?
Well, they're very supportive of what I do, and you know, I am gone a lot, but I try we connect every day wherever I am in the world. I spend as much time as I can with my grandbabies because they give me immeasurable joy, and the cause that I embarked on after my son was killed, you know, Dr. Drew, I always looked at people like Candy Lightner of Mothers Against Drunk Drivers and John Walsh of the Adam Walsh Foundation, and I just thought, how could they do that?
Well, and you're right. And this, thank you for doing it, and thank you for joining me. When we come back, we're going to your comments and questions